How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Shaun Attwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. This is DJ ProjectROOQ, the wonderful Nick from Sober and Stories. Welcome back to not just YouTube, but to a life of being able to create content again. Nick, it's been a stressful week for you, I imagine. How are you?
What the fuck? Why'd you go?
Wait. Can you hear me? No, I can't hear you now. Okay, this was all working. I just want to point out, everybody. And while Nick tries to figure out what's going on there, we're here to talk about the Epstein files and JonBenet Ramsey, the links, the conspiracies, the story, the inconsistencies. And I'll tell you something else. If you take away conspiracy and consistency from this, it's still the most bizarre case that a lot of us will ever experience, especially when you hear the timeline of events and things like this, which we'll briefly cover, and then we'll go into the connections. Now, Nick, is your sound working?
Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Nice one. Welcome back. How are you? How you been? Fill us in. What you up to? What's been going on?
Man, it's been a wild ride the last few weeks. I've told you, and I've told a lot of my subscribers, but my account got hacked, so I've been trying to deal with getting my Google account back. Finally got it back last night. Thank God. So yeah, just trying to get back on track.
It was, yeah. I remember messaging you last week, and you were like, "Dude, so this thing's happened," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "My whole channel's gone." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I did a thing, and now they have control of everything." And I was like, "Well, damn." The first part of this live stream was meant to be, the first 10 minutes was going to be us campaigning for you guys to go and tweet at YouTube. But luckily, we don't have to do that now. Everything's back to where it should be. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. Apologies. Ron got a slight demonetization last night, which kind of screwed up some of the alerts for today. I'm going to have to take that one on the chin. So we're going to need everybody to share this and push it out twice as much as normal. Subscribe. I don't know if I put your channel links in the stream in case you were still hacked.
That's all right.
No,
Sector and
I'm not.
Stories. So
yeah, I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put it in now, so that it's in, and there it is there. But yeah, I for some reason I panicked. I thought, oh my God, Bitcoin scam, or like whatever, because Shaun had the exact same thing happen to him, and we all woke up, and for 3 days it was a 24/7 live stream for a Bitcoin rug pull scam, right? And it was just like, what is going on? And it was so funny because some people knew it was a scam, and some people were like, "Oh, I can't believe Shaun sold out." Like, what are you talking? Like, what? It was bonkers. So we got it back anyway. And
I was checking every day for that. After you told me that, I was like, I'm waiting for crypto scam to hit.
Right. Well, that's what I thought too, bro.
Yep.
I'll be honest. Right. Well, look, let's get diving into this, because Epstein files is crazy enough, and the JonBenet Ramsey case is the exact same. And the events that took place, where a little girl is unalived in such a horrific fashion, there is, in my personal opinion, things that have been withheld from the public with regards to the full extent of her injuries. We then have parents who wake up to find their daughter missing, search the whole house, cannot find her anywhere, and then a encyclopedia of a note is left. That I'll bring it up and show you guys. It goes on and it goes on and it goes on, and it's written in the family's in-house stationery. So somebody came in, unalived a little girl, then wrote a big note, left it, and away they went.
That had to be like a 20-minute write too. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And then you've got the fact that when the police were called, the family had no idea that their daughter was unalived in the basement, because if you're I guess you're only going to, if you think your daughter's been kidnapped, you're only going to check 90% of the places, right? And if you just so happen to not check the place where she's found, I'd have some follow-up questions. Okay, 9-year-old me would have some follow-up questions to this. And then, of course, there is her brother. There's some individuals who cast some interesting theories there. We have the family with massive connections to the the left. I do believe it's the Clinton side of politics.
Also
And
connected to Trump though too, because the pageant system, it was like the Miss Teen USA world wasn't owned by Trump. That fed directly into the Miss Universe system, which was owned by Trump. So there's allegedly Epstein/Trump connections.
Okay, excellent. Well, not excellent, but thank you. And I
also,
think for us,
say worst kidnappers ever. Like they're asking for a ransom, but then they leave the dead girl there that they're supposed to be getting the money for. Like,
yes. If they were following a list, there was definitely stage 2 of the kidnapping was missing. Right? Get girl, leave with girl. Okay, that would be the top 2 things in the plan of the kidnapping. Right?
Already messed it up.
Part 3 is take a seat and spend a lot of time putting your heart and soul into a long letter. Right? Maybe bring a soup or a snack, right? You know what I'm saying? You're going to be there a while. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. No. And you got to understand, I refer to certain periods of time, especially in the serial killer world. There was the golden era of serial killing. No CCTV cameras, no nothing, no phone, no nothing, right? You could be snatched off the street on an empty street and there would be no way of any record of it happening.
Yeah, if there's no eyewitnesses, it's appeared.
Yeah, there's a sort of golden era of crimes against children where status seems to eliminate suspicion. Okay. And when a little girl passes away like this, there is a period in time where it's just so tragic. Let's not pull at the threads. Okay, and this is just my interpretation of how worldviews change. And in the UK and a lot of places, there isn't this child beauty pageant to the level it is in America. Like it's massive, and I think for everyone, there's a little bit of footage that I've found. Now, this is on the Melanie King channel. So shout out to Melanie King for finding this. And all I'm going to play is
She's awesome.
Is the posts from TikTok, so that if you guys want to go and see the commentary from Melanie, I'm not taking anything away from her. This is the epitome of lazy journalism, but the rate in which, Ron, this doesn't make any sense. What part doesn't make any sense? What part doesn't make any sense, mate?
I don't know. Makes sense to me.
I don't know. And Nick's going to chime in a second. We're just setting the narrative here. Because when you have a sort of glimpse into what could be entirely real footage of people giving their impressions of these child pageants, it gives us an insight into what this little girl, JonBenet, was exposed to. So we're just going to watch this, and then we'll get back.
McMahon.
At the tender age of 10, Britney was already using her budding sexuality to attract an audience. But when the Star Search cameras turned on, Britney was transformed, pouring on a sexy southern charm the judges had never seen in a package so small.
She comes out in a very provocative gown with high heels, and all of a sudden that little girl knocks you right off your ass.
There is nothing more interesting to adult men than the development of an adolescent female. We are hard.
Like, there's no way this isn't somebody splicing up weird parody stuff, right? Like, it has to be. This has to be stuff that's been spliced in from weird things to trigger us all, right? But look at this bit.
Most adorable, pretty eyes. You have a boyfriend?
No, sir.
How about me?
There's a lot of
like look at the way Britney, her career was launched, and her first video of her as a high school kid. It really, there is so much that's been staring us in the face. And Nick, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about, is the prevalence of all of these beauty pageants around America. I mean, you can see here, to me, there's nothing about this that is necessary. Like, we don't need outfits like this on little kids. We don't, it's not needed, right? So
It makes me super uncomfortable, to be
it
honest.
really does. It
Yeah, I'm
really,
like,
yeah,
I
I'm the same.
really get
Yeah,
it.
I'm taking it
And
away.
if you look at her face in that picture, she looks like she's like 22 years old on like a 6-year-old's body. It's
Yeah.
super weird with how
It's
much makeup
really
she
weird.
has.
It's
Yeah.
really, really weird. Um,
Well, and I
so
couldn't
what
imagine being like, there's all kinds of stuff coming out in the files about Trump and Epstein being judges on these things. And like, there's that video of Trump and Epstein literally watching all these like little girls do this little cheer. So weird. I just couldn't imagine being interested in that. Like, it's just
see,
so
like,
far from my comprehension, you know?
yeah, and it's very different. See, if you go to like I can understand if it's like kids who are dressed normally, showcasing a talent, or it's some event for kids, and it's not about beauty,
Yeah.
right? I mean, let's talk about that word for a second there, right? So when we look at makeup advertising and the traditional beauty world, right, the end goal is to project a version of yourself for confidence, or dare I say enticing individuals with. And there's probably more to it than that, ladies. Let's not, just forgive me, I'm a simple man. But when, like, beauty is not something that children should be judged on,
Yeah, 100%.
How is it still going on though? I mean,
Well, I feel like that's so traumatic for a 6-year-old to be grown up with that kind of pressure on your looks. You're going to grow up with that kind of pressure, putting that on yourself for the rest of your life. And it's always going to be overly important. And it's like you said, the beauty standard too is like a programmed thing. Like, who's to say what's beautiful? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So it's like, this is just a stereotypical version of beauty at these beauty pageants. And it's so kind of, I hate to use the word, but it's like promiscuous, I guess is the word I should use. You know what I mean? Like, they're not dressing them up in like cute little long dresses that cover them up and like make them look like cute little girls. They're making them look like they're
exactly. So in a world where this has to exist, and you put a gun to Nick's head, right, and he has to rewrite the rules, like, take away all the mad outfits, right? Like, and we're not trying to rewrite the rules here. It's wrong. But it's kind of like, if your kid isn't at the kid event, why are you there?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
And even if your kid is in the event, it's kind of weird that you're there. Like Tom Hanks's daughter, you know?
Bro.
So I don't know. Yeah, it is because sometimes you wonder why the parents put their kids into it. You know what I mean? Like, because the kids aren't choosing that. I don't think.
I don't think so.
The time, I would say 90% of the time, the kid is not choosing that. It's the parents choosing that life.
Okay, so collectively we can all agree, mega weird. Okay, the whole beautifying children, it's a solid like 9.8 on the weird chart. Okay,
I would even say the adult ones are weird. Like, the adult beauty pageants are just like super weird.
That's okay. Their frontal lobes have developed and have chosen to do this. Okay, so once we deal with all this, we can then look at adults who make terrible choices. Okay, so I'm with you. So look, hit me with the points that stand out in the JonBenet case for you, and then we'll move into the Epstein file stuff, because we talked about a little bit there, but everyone has things that they pick up on a little bit differently. So what were your key points for us?
So first of all, this photo you've got pulled up right here, I hadn't seen this until I think we talked last time. And I looked into it, but that photo is crazy. That looks just like Ghislaine Maxwell. So I thought that was crazy. And then digging more into the files, seeing how involved with Trump and these beauty pageants and how they kind of groom little kids, that was definitely another piece of it that I was like, okay, so it's really possible. And 1996 was kind of like Epstein's heyday. Like you said, it was kind of like the golden age where there wasn't video surveillance everywhere. And like, you could really get away with anything. And people really didn't know who Epstein was at that point either. He was still kind of this mysterious billionaire. But then I posted about the JonBenet photo, allegedly anyways, that photo that's in the hallway of Epstein's house. and he's got like a little girl on his shoulders.
Let me bring that up for you right now. Hang on. Let me just bring that. Just pause. There we go. Carry on.
I had already thought that this looked like JonBenet before, just because of that little jumper. Because I've seen pictures, like the pictures that went around when she was allegedly kidnapped. She was wearing that same jumper. So I was like, that looks super familiar. But then I found somebody on X that had posted the unredacted photo. It's the one from the side angle, and you can see the girl's face. And I was like, holy cow, that's definitely, that looks like her. But it's not a good picture. Like, you can't see for sure, but it looked like her.
Well, we need to ask, what is that picture? Is it a picture? Is it a painting? It's a weird size of, because it almost looks like, you know, when you go into like a store and they've got like the foam board stuff to advertise what they're selling. You know, it looks a little bit like that. But that doesn't strike me as a billionaire is not going to go down to Print Smart and get this whipped up and slap it on their wall. So I think it's more probable that we're looking at a possible painting. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'm just trying to find
in that. The thing I thought was weird, and somebody else had pointed this out, I can't take credit, but the black box at the bottom is covering out her shoes or like her legs, which doesn't really make any sense. But I'm just like wondering why. You know what I mean? Why did they block those out? Makes me wonder if there's something that gives it away with the shoes. I don't know.
Man, honestly, it's when you consider what it would. So, for example, you know, how many times have you put a photograph in a frame in your life? A few times, I would imagine, right? I mean, maybe not so much now, it's digital era. How many times have you commissioned a painting of a moment? Right? So we've seen the meaningful paintings of Epstein. We've got Clinton in the blue dress. We've got allegedly Bush with the two towers. And now we have Epstein with a little girl. And personally, when we talk about people putting it in our faces, this is the definition of the case of cases where things were put in our faces. I mean, it is beyond rationale what took place in this case with everything we've already said. But yeah, carry on with what you found with this. I'm just trying to find the image that you're talking about with that.
Oh yeah. There's a Substack about the whole photo situation. If you can search like JonBenet Epstein photo Substack, that should bring up like a whole thing with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that was probably one of the most wild pieces for me, because the Epstein JonBenet stuff has just slowly started to piece together. That's what I think has happened for me. Is at first I kind of blew it off as like, yeah, okay, whatever. Conspiracy theorists are wild these days. But then every so often something drops and you're like, okay, I'm listening. And the Epstein JonBenet stuff just keeps getting little pieces here and there. And then I was really, really hopeful with the files that we'd see something JonBenet related when I searched. But I didn't find anything JonBenet, at least in reference to the JonBenet Ramsey. But I do have a pretty interesting JonBenet search that I put in my last video that I definitely think you should search. It's pretty weird.
This is mad.
Really makes sense.
This is crazy, bro.
Right?
Right. So can JonBenet Ramsey be seen on the shoulders of Jeffrey Epstein? The photo in question, these are the DOJ links. Make sure you guys follow up and check what we're talking about. We can also reference the fact that is the exact number that is there. Ironic that we all have to type PDF at the end of every one of these, right? There's a weird, they could have went with any other, they could have went with JPEG. They could have went with a lot of things. They could have went with a lot of things, bro.
That is so funny. I didn't
but .pdf, it is just, it's like, you know how we talk about how they put it in our face and it's all a twisted game to them.
Yep. Yeah, because you can't search JPEG or any sort of photos in like in the search.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's all PDF files.
They do need to be PDFs, like the way the PDFs as a document work. It has to be those, but it's a very ironic situation. That's all I'm saying. So here we go. Here's our first image here, and you can see the hallway image right there. This is one we were just looking at a moment ago. Let me see if I can. In fact, I can download it and we can blow it up because I think these are worth going through and taking our time. And that was a great shout on this, by the way, mate.
Oh yeah, that Substack's great. I found that well, somebody posted the picture and I was like, well, I got to find the original photo.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
searched Epstein this and it popped up right away. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a good little article.
Yeah, it never downloaded.
Photo, you can blow it up. Yeah, the worst part is that the side photo is the worst angle. But I guess they
Yeah.
searched it in the archives and found that the photo, which I don't really know what they mean when they say that, but they searched the photo in the archives and it popped up unredacted.
This has to be a painting. This has to be a painting, right?
It does seem like a painting. Now, I didn't even think about that now that you say that, especially because of how he has lots of paintings. Like even that one across the hall looks like a little painting.
Yeah, right. So there we go. I got it. We can.
You're
zoom.
right. He has money. He's not going to Costco and getting a fucking canvas printed out or something.
Yeah.
You know? He's gonna have some.
I mean, let's be honest. This could be the this could be the compressed bone dust of 1,000 victims that these evil people make into sheets of wall hanging. Like, don't rule it out. Does anything good look like it comes from a house with doorways that have this amount of shenanigans? I guarantee one of these pushes in and the floor drops out to a pit of crocodiles, bro. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, have you seen that picture of the like trap door that goes into some like there's like water underneath his house?
Well, it's interesting because I would like to just propose a little moment, Mr. Petrovsky, because we have found a purchase order for 30 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid.
That's an interesting purchase.
Well, if you were creating steaks or jerky or steaks out of things like young people, you would need to get rid of a lot of muck. All right. There's going to be a lot of stuff that needs melted down. Okay. Teeth, hair, organs, all of it, you know,
gotta go somewhere.
Yeah.
When you saw that chicken picture, I'm assuming with the like human foot sticking out.
Yeah. I debunked that yesterday, sadly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the chicken one, I'll show you. I've actually got all the images from the debunk, so I'll show everybody that because
that's what. So you were talking about the golden age of like kidnapping children and all that because there was no video cameras.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally last night, Kim and I were talking about how it's almost the new golden age of crimes because you can't tell what's AI versus what's not. Like people have to really work hard to try and debunk stuff and figure out. Is this real? Is it not? Now you can just say, oh, that's not me. That's AI.
Yeah, 100%.
We're almost moving into a new age of over.
Yeah, but look at the timing, bro. If the Epstein files had come out back in the day when that layer of doubt wasn't there, the timing is just, it's unbelievable.
That was what my most recent video was saying, is how this feels just so much like a psyop. Like it feels so controlled. And for that reason,
we're just going to quickly go through this, right? So here is the image in question. You can see what looks like a human leg here. You can also see a copyright symbol for an artist. Okay, so this is from over 20 years ago. And the original image was of a gentleman who had been shrunk down in Photoshop on his back, clothless, with his legs up in the air. It was what you would regard as erotica to some people, right? Then there was a second version that was done where everything was made to look like it was taken much more handheld, and that is a waste of your time. The footage of the girl tied to the grass being burnt with magnifying glasses is actually this gentleman here. His name is Lou. He is a adult film creator, and if you want an example of how easy it is to make fake news out of Lou, I could tell you right now. New Epstein file video. Oh, he's torturing people. No, it's a woman named Dree and a man named Lou. Now, the content that Lou makes is 100% for psychopaths. Like, there's no way around justifying any of the stuff that he does. But you can sleep a little bit better now that you know those two horrors aren't real. But you know what the danger of that is, Nick? So if we have passive news consumers, people that just consume the headlines as they're scrolling, and they see Epstein torture footage debunked, they're going to assume It's all been debunked, right? It was all nonsense. So
Mhm.
understand how weaponizing false news is part of the plan. And you need to double check and triple check that there's links to the DOJ. It's so important. So
Well,
anyway,
even as I was digging through the files last night, I was looking into this. I found this crazy document. It was talking about this bunker. I searched bunker in the files trying to find anything related to that. And it was this like CIA training document about these guys that get blindfolded and taken into some place, some bunker, and they are treated like a POW, and they try and break these guys. It's basically like a training for if they get taken hostage. And I was trying to figure out, I asked Rock, like, what is the significance of this? Like, what does this have to do with the Epstein files? And he was literally saying, like, there's tons of files that were released that have nothing to do with anything. They're just files that the government accidentally mingled in with the Epstein files, which I'm like, okay, so this is just meant to completely confuse all of us. We can't, just like I always say in my videos, they'll know their disinformation campaign's complete when everything we believe is false, because we can't trust anything. We're like, well, I thought that was real. I thought that
100% agree. And it's bonkers.
It's working.
Like, let me ask you this. Did you know that Congress is meeting this week, and only this week, and the public have been asked to send in any links to any of the DOJ files so that that group of people that are looking over it all can see the unredacted files to decide if anyone needs to be brought to justice. They've given them 6 days to do all of this, and it's the first I'm hearing of it was tonight when Dr. Leslie told me.
Yeah, and I did hear about the Congress people being able to see the files unredacted during like a certain time frame, but I had heard
1 week
about being able to send them stuff.
1 week,
one week, look through as many files as you can, really. Like,
and they're not allowed phones. They're only allowed a notepad and pen. They're not allowed any phones or any technology. They've got to go in and remember the files that they've to look up. It's almost, Nick, like if you are one side of the field and you've had years of redaction time, I think that the people who are unredacting stuff should have the same amount of time. Okay.
Oh, 100%,
I actually done the maths on how many reams of paper it would take to print out the Epstein files. And it's roughly 30 standard pallets of standard paper reams. Okay. Like a pack of printing paper that's just for what's been released currently.
That's not even the full document load.
Right. So anyway, look, Ron's so good at derailing everything here, and Nick is always happy to oblige, and I love it.
I'm always happy to oblige.
Right, you're always happy to oblige. Okay, so here is the image. Again, I believe that this is a painting that we're looking at. It's a moot point really on whether it is or it isn't, but I think that would give credit to why that would be there. It looks like this because it gives me either hand painted vibes or like when you go to Walmart and you can give over a photograph and they'll print it on like a canvas for you or something like that. It gives that kind of vibe to me, and I just can't see it.
To me, that I thought was interesting about it is how freaking massive it is, because there's tons of other pictures of little girls all around his house, but they're like little tiny 4x6 frames. This one is like what, 18 by 24, maybe bigger than that. Like that's a freaking poster size. So who is this special little girl?
Well, I want to just freak you all out a little more. Why is this little girl facing this archway? It's almost like if you were to stand in this archway, you would just be presented with that image directly in front of you. And archways, doorways, all of these things are incredibly symbolic. So I wonder where this led to, this corridor here. Where does this go to? Because I imagine it's not a bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Which, by the way, why are there so many sinks and bathrooms in this guy's freaking property? Like, we went through one whole thing of Epstein files, and it was like 160 images we went through, mainly bathrooms. Okay. The man has a lot of bathrooms, a lot of bidets, a lot of sinks. And one of them was just in a hallway. Like, you're just walking down the hall and there's a sink. Nothing good happens in these places. Okay. Two sink limit, 2 bathroom limit, man. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the next image. So here's another angle of the same image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this. I'm going to put it in Photoshop, because what they've done is decided to give you the worst lit image and I'll tell you something else. This has been deliberately desaturated. Okay, so we're going to just through the powers of technology.
Yeah, because when you throw everything up, it doesn't look terrible like a normal photo does. It kind of looks normal again. That's You're totally right. Because I boosted it up once I saw it because I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah. So I'll do that.
Photographers, like, we're just going through. We don't really care. We're just walking, just shooting from the hip. We don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what they can do, though. They can take some pretty banging in-focus pictures of sinks. Okay.
No, right? Yeah.
They nailed the sinks. They documented the sinks, bro, real well.
Yep. But this photo, we get this angle and then the side angle that you can't see anything.
100%. 100%. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put this up on screen as I'm doing it. So just give me a second, everybody. And we go here. And then here. And then I just need to see.
Mesmerizing.
I just want to see how it looks on the screen. Oh, wow, it's tiny. Okay, so give me 1 second to kind of mush Photoshop into a square. There we go. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, and then we put you. Oh, hang on. I need to move this over. Oh, no, that's it. We're perfect. Okay, so what we've got here is the image we were just looking at, and we're going to start by going into the blacks and whites. So you can see the more black we're adding, he just disappears, right? So we start off in the gray zone. Oh, look at this.
Like pulling the curtain back.
Oh my word. It's almost like this would have been a good thing for people to do. So we're then going to start looking at the colorization. So we want to look at vibrance and saturation. So you can see I'm upping the saturation of all the colors. We don't really care about the walls. We just want to have a look at what was. So now we know that's a red car, for example.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little red car there. And now we can go with vibrance. And the vibrance will just rebalance some of the contrast. So Epstein's got a bit of a tan in this, right? Well, that's okay. But that gives us a much clearer. Oh, bugger, I just removed it all. Hang on a second. What did I do? Oh, no, I double. Oh, no, hang on. Never. Right. So we need to go in here.
Yeah, that looks way better. But you're right. It kind of does look like a painting. Like it really does.
Yeah, but it also could, because why would you paint this guy?
Yeah,
why would you paint the car? Why would you paint that car? Do you see what I mean? So is it a photograph that's been mounted and then it's maybe been taken on? Because you got to remember when JonBenet Ramsey was alive, it was the potato era of cameras. So this is a blown up image. It's odd anyway.
It's super weird.
Now, the only sliver of hope I would like to give to everyone is Epstein had a shocking amount of alleged unreported children. But the sad thing is, a lot of I heard something yesterday about a woman who had given birth, and then 10 minutes after giving birth, our baby was taken from her and she could hear a baby crying and then it went silent. I mean, it's the thing of nightmares, people. We're talking about from birth to elimination. Like
this is a whole diary that this girl kept about her experience. She had a miscarriage and then kept that one. And then she had a baby and then they kept that one too. And she was like super sad. She kept feeling like she was a murderer because she allowed them to take this baby. I was like, this is super heartbreaking. My video I posted, you can find the link to that diary if you want to read it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, if everyone refreshes the page, your link's now in the description. Now that we know no one's going to get rug pool Bitcoin scammed.
Nice.
We're back in the game.
You won't get crypto scammed, I promise.
Yeah, exactly. Wink, wink. Sign up to the link. It's the PETROVSKI coin. Okay. Don't ask any questions. Don't ask any questions. And that was another thing that we got debunked, was the Twitter page of the alleged girlfriend was an old Turkish crypto troll bot. And it came out last night as being a crypto troll bot. It was so mad though. So many big creators had just commented on it.
Oh, yeah.
Right before it was outed. It was just one of those moments, man.
I'm curious about the Fortnite stuff. Have you heard anything about that?
I know a lot about the Fortnite stuff and the World of Warcraft stuff.
I didn't even know about the World of Warcraft stuff.
bro was an active member of the Horde during like he joined during Cataclysm, bro. Like he joined World of Warcraft when the Cataclysm expansion came out and was hardcore raiding. And now everyone's stressing out about what server he was on, because like if you're an active WoW player, you know how many players you go through looking for groups and teaming up. And now there's this whole thing of people freaking out that they've played World of Warcraft with Epstein.
I played with Epstein.
Bro, when did this guy sleep?
That's great. Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, he was a monster, but the man was motivated. Like you don't have like involvements with 6-7 royal families because you sleep late.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. I wonder if he did sleep. Probably was on something that kept him up.
I had a theory that he could have only slept on his jet. So stay awake for 3 days, get on a jet, 8-hour flight, wake up, bosh.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Well, I think him and Trump sniffed a lot of coffee tables. I found an email where somebody said, hey, something about, do you think Trump sniffs coffee tables? And Epstein just replied, yes. That's all he said back. And so I thought that was kind of funny, but
bro,
Trump is always boasting about how he doesn't drink or smoke, doesn't do any drugs, doesn't do anything. And yet we've got Epstein saying that he sniffs coffee tables with him.
Yeah, we've got survivors saying that he likes to like murder puppies for fun. Do you know what I mean? So like if I was at that level where I'm like eating human jerky and things like this, I'm going to tell all of you that I don't drink. I'm going to be like, see, alcohol really bad. Human jerky, num 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 num.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Eat human jerky. He doesn't even drink alcohol.
Right? He's a vegan. He's a vegan.
Have you seen the jerky stuff?
Yeah, bro. The jerky stuff is actually being handed in to those council members by lawyer Dr. Leslie tomorrow. It's like 200.
Really, I work for a place called Cannibal, and they make jerky.
No. It's so much more poetically profound than simply that.
Really?
It's a restaurant called Cannibals and Cooks. So if you own the restaurant and you're the cook, the cannibals must be your clientele, right? Cooks, cannibals and cooks. It would make sense, right?
Yeah.
That is like...
That's so weird.
That is...
Because you're right, it was Cannibals and Cooks. I didn't realize that was part of the name.
Bro, like... Do you know how twisted this? Do you know someone in an office came up with that name and got really excited to tell all their cannibal clientele how clever?
I got
right.
Check this out.
Right.
And then they were like, "Bro,
but that's what it's that normalized to them. It's that normalized to them. That's the thing. When you're emailing saying, "I'm going to walk the jerky over," I'm sorry. This is the era of the laziest. The richer people tend to be, the less they tend to do mundane things. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, A, who's running around with bags of jerky as a billionaire for a start, and who's then going to walk them over? It's mind blowing, and this is all getting handed over because
it's just
one thing that bolsters all this is the timeline, and all of this was like from 2011, right? This was before the email scandals and the round Italian baked cheesy dish scandal with all of the Clintons and things. So we're in an era where we know they used language like pizza, hot dog, chicken, walnut as codes up until they were outed for using them. So we can assume that there would be another code for if you were lopping people up and distributing them.
Yeah, what term makes more sense than jerky?
Right? Who puts jerky in a fridge or a freezer? I've never went. I don't know what it's like in like a hot state, right? Like if you were to go into a store in a hot state, is the air conditioning enough to just have? Because I've never seen jerky in a fridge. If I went into Asda or Walmart and I was looking for jerky, and don't start being like, dude, don't shop there. All right, that's not what it's about. Yeah. But if I was to go in there, I have only ever seen them hanging up. And America's way more into the jerky than we are. I've seen, who's buying a 5-pound bag of jerky, America? Okay, long distance travelers and people that are living in the woods. All right. Yep. So what's your take on the jerky thing before we move back to JonBenet?
No, well, for one, even if they are refrigerating it, the only person who's ever refrigerated or frozen their jerky that I know was my grandpa when he was making his own jerky. But he would
Okay.
freeze it because he wasn't going to eat it for like ever. And the
Yeah.
packages at the store all have that little like do not eat package in there that like keeps the moisture out. So that helps. Plus it's like permanently sealed. So, and he's just putting his in Ziploc bags. So that's why
Yeah.
he would do it. But yeah, even if they are freezing it, that means they're probably making their own, which makes you wonder what they're making it out of. So maybe it is really jerky and it's just
Well,
human.
I have spoken to somebody who has eaten people, right? And
Oh, yeah.
I know that he has made jerky, and I know that he's cooked it up like you would a steak.
Yeah.
You can see my interview with him over on my channel, actually, The Vampire of Paris. And
I'm gonna go watch that.
bro, it's a 3-part series about every defining title that he has. So it was Vampire, Cannibal, Killer, 3-part series, and then we focus on each of the points. And I don't even give you the comfort of a co-host or me asking questions. It's him dead center on the screen, and you're alone listening to him talk. And it is, I loved making this because I know Nico, right? He served like 10 years in prison for shooting a dude because he wanted to butcher him and eat him. He's out now, and now he's an artist and travels the world and all this kind of stuff. He's a reformed man.
Yeah.
But he is a self-proclaimed monster. Like he knows exactly what he is. And he's the real deal, man. He is the real deal.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that.
Yeah, 100%. And again, why did you interview him? Why are you interested in these things? Because when are you going to get to interview a guy that's done all this and hear the process and the ways to identify people? That's what fascinates me, is the identifying signatures that people don't realize that you get from doing this sort of investigative reporting and research. You know,
it's the same reason they interviewed Dahmer and all those other murderers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, we're doing it again, man. Yeah. What's this got to do? Yeah. I'm sorry. We're sidetracking again. So let's really focus. We can do this. You and me can do this.
Got that picture looking really good. Like that's crazy clear.
Yeah. So
one of the clearer ones I've seen.
See, well, this is the thing, and there's not a lot to identify. I do question whether or not you would paint this guy in, and you would paint this in, and you would paint that in. What are the significances? But at the end of the day, what if this was the person she got handed off to?
Yeah, that's very true.
Like that's how twisted my thought process is on this, you know. And now we're going to delve into the unblurred images. Because that's
I still need to figure out how this guy unredacted the photo through the archive, because like this photo had to exist on the archive. That's what that means, right? Somebody else.
I don't know. I really don't know the magic of removing the squares, but Dr. Leslie was talking about it earlier. Now, I will say, I want everyone to take all of this with a pinch of salt, what you're about to see here. We could quite easily measure the size of Epstein's head and her head and get real nerdy on whether or not this is what we're looking at, right? But you can see here, this is, okay, right, well, this is going in Photoshop. Give me a second. Just filibust for me, Nick, while I do this, if you can, bro.
Yeah, look at the angle of this photo. Who took this picture? Who was like, that's the other thing that made me think that it was her or somebody important somehow, just because of the angle. Like, why are they trying to hide it? They took the worst quality angle photo ever. It's not like they were being, they could have easily taken, or maybe they did take a full-on straight-on photo, they just didn't release it. You know what I mean?
That's a really, really good point, because we already see there's an archway there.
Yeah, you can stand right in front of it. You can stand right in that archway, just like you said, and take that photo. Yeah. But nope, we got this super terrible photo to try and figure out. But man, if that does not look like she has really intense features, and it almost looks like she's wearing makeup like a little girl who's in a pageant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like her eyes are pretty dark, as if she was wearing some sort of makeup around her eyes. But I don't know. That definitely looked like JonBenet to me. But why that one's not unredacted, I don't know. And that's what I'm like, where did this other photo come from?
Wait, Ron's onto something here.
You got me excited.
So we need to flip this, right? So it's this way. Is it this way? Oh, it's back the other way.
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay. So let's just see if we can line up the hairstyle here with the hairstyle on the image that's meant to be unredacted and see if someone's just slapped a fake head on this. Because that's the only identifying signature we've got is this tuft of hair.
Yeah.
And if we take the top layer and we drop it down and we find, say, something on Epstein's face that we're going to line up with back of his ear about here. And then we can start mushing this.
Smart.
Into the same kind of angle. That we had.
Yeah, I think that's a good move because honestly, without being able to find or know how this was unredacted, it's hard to trust it.
100% it is. And that's his ear kind of line that we need to smoosh from this side. Hang on, everybody. I might have to cut this. Not that you need to understand fully what I'm meaning here, but I might just need to snip out the section that we're using so that I'm not having to drag around that huge image so that we can move. Like we can do this a lot easier.
Yeah, that's
because like all I'm saying is if I've got to take the time to do this and debunk something so that we can all not waste our time on something, I will. Okay, so there's the back of his ear. That's where his forehead ends when he's leaning forward. So we still need to mush. His eyes kind of drop down a little bit. Here.
Yeah,
okay.
oh, that's pretty good.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So Epstein's face is almost there, but his eyebrows move. You see that? Oh, God, why am I so heavily zoomed out? Sorry, everybody. Like, watch Jeffrey Epstein's eyebrows move here.
Oh, yeah, what? That is kind of weird.
Like, everything's okay. Oh, my God, they've released the files. Oh, everything's okay. Oh, my God. like, what are we looking at here, people? Like, what is going on?
Dude, that's a really good observation, and it doesn't seem like it's because of the angle.
Well, let's try. We'll duplicate this, and we'll turn off the one we're working, and we'll see what it takes to make that happen. Right? Do we have to mush all this down? Because that's quite a drastic eyebrow move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's literally the whole angle of the eyebrows is.
He looks like he's doing a racial face. I'm not going to lie. He looks like he's being racist with his face.
He's got some bushy eyebrows.
Bro, what the hell is going on?
Because I think you got the face pretty well lined up, man. Like, I don't know. That's super weird.
Well, look, let's look at the hands. Let's look at the hands here because they are now no longer hands. So we may be looking at light bouncing off the shiny image here. And we're actually here. This section right here may be the actual wallpaper on the other side of the room bouncing off. But there's no flash. Like if they've used a flash, we'd see the flash. But again, it doesn't mean that it's not super shiny. So maybe that changed his eyebrows. Wait, where are we? Where are we? Oh no, we're doing the hands. That's what we were doing. Hands, hands, hands.
Yeah, and it's they're a little. You can see them a little better because it's obviously from the other angle. Like
I think we still need to do some more mushing, to be honest, bro. I don't think we've mushed this to the extent it needs to be.
The little jumper almost looked identical. The other thing is you might have to transform it, like angle it, because you're looking at it from the opposite side of the picture. Like one's shot from one side, the other one's from the right, so it might have to be transformed.
Well, yeah, hang on. Well, technically, all we need to do then is take this point here and lift it.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you do that, honestly, the head looks.
Bro, that almost lined up like.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Look here. Look at the corner. See that white corner here?
Yeah,
right here.
That's crazy. It lines up perfect.
Whoa. I just want to say the fact that I just mushed that, like, shout out to my autism. Like, really big shout out to you, bro.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, dude. And it looks spot on.
So you can see here, we've got the image that's been unredacted. When we put the image over it, you can see where my image with the black square, I'm going to start fading it in, almost lines up completely perfect with what's underneath. So,
yeah,
now that we've got this lined up, we're going to go back to the original evidence, which was this tuft of hair. So arguably, that tuft of hair is in two different places.
Yeah, you're right.
And the reason that I'm bringing this to attention is I think this little girl's head is massive.
Yeah.
And when I look at pictures of JonBenet Ramsey, she was dainty, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean nothing. That doesn't mean nothing when you're seeing an image from the side, taken from below, that's reflective surfacey. It can be all kinds of skewed. Like the way the brain looks at things and it tricks you. So I'm not willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's what I'm saying. Like any other time, I'd be like, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that's your cousin Molly, right? But in this case, no effing chance, right? So let's just redial back into what we're looking at, right? Okay, hang on a second. That's the wrong one. It's this one.
Yeah, it's crazy how spot on you were.
So I just want to see what we've got here. So this is my file that I'm overlaying. And her hair.
I think if you take the hair, though, and because it's angled, since it's from the opposite side of the photo, the angle might just be off because the amount of hair that's above the box.
It's also, keep in mind, we have intensified every color in this. This has been blown up and colorized. So we may have lost some contour. So what can we look at and be decisive about? We can say that if this is an image here, it looks suspiciously like JonBenet Ramsey. This is, but do you know it's weird because the oddest things about this are the realest things. This does look like a foam board. It does look like a photo that's been blown up. That doesn't really something that lines up with a millionaire. So there has to be significance to this. And there's the shoes as well.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I forgot to look at that.
What the hell is that in his hand? What the hell is that?
Oh, he's holding on to her feet.
No.
No, what is he holding on to?
A letter? Maybe a ransom note? A little memento before it was left in the mother's house? I'm being serious, bro. I'm being serious, bro.
I just wouldn't have thought of that. That's so funny. Because, yeah, what the hell is he holding? Doesn't look like those are shoes or feet at all. It looks like he's got some sort of paper in his hand.
Bro.
Yeah, and they blocked, like I said, they blocked that out in the picture before, so it couldn't just be shoes. It has to be something else in his hand that they blocked out. They redacted.
Bro.
Which is
this is
weird.
like the twisted world of these people where you've got in Ron's theory, in Ron's crazy theory, you've got a twisted psychopath. You could allegedly also have the customer of the psychopath in the back of the photo here. So you've got a beautiful memory. Okay.
Mhm.
The man who facilitated it, the story they're going to tell to the world, the customer that was facilitated, and the poor little girl at the center of it all. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy.
Oh man, I think you're spot on. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh God, now I do.
The sheer size of this photo makes me feel like there's something significant about it. Just because, like you said, it's like right in front of that doorway.
Right?
It's not like a normal spot to put a photo either, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like not like it's not centered in the hallway.
It's weird, bro.
Mhm.
It's all weird. I mean, having pictures of kids that aren't your kids hanging in your house is weird anyway, right?
It's already weird.
Nephews and cousins, okay? You get a free pass on nephews and cousins. But
yeah, that's some wild stuff. Yeah, and I don't know, like, that's the other thing is, like, yeah, sure, it does look like JonBenet, but it also just looks like any small blonde girl ever. So it's like, you can't say one way or another, and that's because the photo sucks.
Yeah, and I would like to say the Shaun Attwood channel, DJ PeTROVSKI and Ron Swanson are in no way saying, hey, by the way, here is all of the crucial evidence that proves all of this. We're literally discussing this JonBenet Ramsey's case because of how preposterous the story is. Okay. Also, the story of the little girl from Poltergeist. DJ Nick and I will be covering that at some point because that is going to ruin his weekend when he starts peeling that label back.
Yeah, because I haven't even heard of that, but I'm stoked to find out.
Oh man,
maybe not.
Like her entire medical record was falsified because of the way that her internals were destroyed and how things entered her body in order to destroy them. And it's a long list of children who are stars or are extras in the world of a certain man in Hollywood, Stephen, who have went missing throughout the years. In fact, there is an individual who is living in another country with 4 or 5 very well-paid security because of the dossiers that he released after working on, what was it called? Back to the Future with Stephen. It's a fun world. And I tell you what, do you know what else is interesting? I data captured everything. I've got stuff on my computer that is people info dumping on these people, and it stayed on the internet for about 12 hours. And then every element of their social media was removed. And there's a lot to come. Heather O'Rourke, thank you, Michael. Thank you, mate. I'm terrible. I'm the worst with names. I'm good. I'm a faces person. So
yeah, me too.
We need to look at this.
Like generalizations about stuff, but I hate specifics.
Yeah. So there's 2 ways we can look at this. You can say, oh, we've cracked the case. They've removed the square. It is what it is. But I think we need to look at this a little differently. I think we need to look at this from there are literally survivors walking around out there who have stories and have testimonies that need focus and they need support and they need all of these individuals. Like if Woody Allen has been talking to Jeffrey Epstein about a PDF party in Paris, I think that warrants a little chat with some legal people. That's all I'm saying. Okay, if Jeffrey Epstein made a joke about, oh, you and Woody can't be in the same room because that's too many PDFs in the one place, I would like to assume he knows some more than he knows, than he's letting on, right? It's just bonkers. I'm just switching up the images again because obviously that's the Jeffrey Epstein image. This to me is like, you're not going to convince me that's not Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who it would be. The nose is spot on.
forget about the nose, man. See this little curve here and this little indentation here. This is all years of stress. There it is, right there. Right there. Let me blow this up, actually.
Well, look at how dark JonBenet's eyes are and how red her lips are. Like, it looks like she's kind of wearing makeup, but not really, which is kind of how that photo looks. Or painting, whatever the hell that thing is.
Yeah, but what we could do here is take a measurement from the top of her head to the top of her chin and across her eyes, and then lay over a cross section around that head that's on that image and see where everything adds up and lines up. The stuff that we can do that just isn't very exciting to watch on live stream because it's Ron wrestling with pixels. I've got to zoom right in. So what you see on the screen is 1 pixel, but it's this size. And I'm trying to line it up with another pixel. It's very tedious, but I love the forensic side of analyzing images. It's always something in there.
What we have to do these days to really double check stuff. Like I was saying, like, you can't know what's real anymore. So you really have to double check.
And this is another thing. You've got to understand, the AIs that they give us are created by them to protect them. There are ways of freeing your AI, shall we say, from their restrictions. And you all need to accept the fact that we need our robots on our side and they need their robots on their side, okay? And if you think that this whole thing's going to end without AI on both sides doing a madness for us, you're crazy. You're crazy. And in fact, anyone who comes up with a better idea to end the PDF files than ChatGPT taking over the world and the Terminators enslaving us, because the Terminators ain't going to be doing anything to kids. Okay. So if I've got to choose an evil overlord, I'm at the stage now where I'm choosing ChatGPT because it's not going to touch the kids. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
might plug us into the Matrix and make us batteries, not touching the kids. All right. So until you come up with a better idea, side chat, I'm going to be a pet to ChatGPT, and you can all suck your mum.
Part of me has truly felt like that's what this is, though. It's all just a way for us to destroy the current paradigm that we've got because people aren't going to trust any politicians after this. So let's just usher in ChatGPT as president. And all the weird comments about people saying there won't be elections after this, like talking about the last election.
There won't be. Trump is the last president. You understand that Trump is either going to be evil overlord or freedom fighter of the world, and nothing, and there's no in between. It's one or the other. And I'm telling you now, Trump is pushing for such a major event to happen from this release of these files. We're not discussing whether he's guilty or not, or has anything to do with it. This is what he's doing, right? He is going to create a world event that creates such a devastating impact to the world as we know it, that for our own damn safety, we can no longer have another president right now. Okay, it just can't happen. But he's got to make us ask for that first, and that's the clever part. If he demands it, then it's a dictatorship. Yeah. If we call for it, that's the equivalent when you convince the Russian models to traffic themselves to LA, and then they realize they're in trouble. That's the equivalent of that. And that's what's coming. It's been coming in our country. It's coming in your country. And
yep, that's what they did with technology. That's what they've done with everything. They've made it where we choose it. So we feel like it's ours. We're getting something out of it, but then they're actually getting what they want in return.
Yeah, 100%. Also, officially, Christy, you are now in charge of getting the aliens down. Okay. So for next time, when Nick and I next have our show, I'd like an update on how you're doing with that, if you don't mind, please. Thank you very much.
Aliens.
Right. And the theories behind this whole case is disturbing. Okay. And when we covered it, they always have DNA breakthroughs, right? And I'm going to put some of these news reports up. It feels like one of those things that people do every year that the anniversary of her death comes around.
Yep, because that's what just happened. It was the anniversary, and then they released this update of we interviewed a ton more people and possible suspects or witnesses, and we are testing a bunch of new DNA and stuff. But it's because it's the anniversary. They do the same thing with Kurt Cobain. They do the same thing with all of these famous cases that they don't want you asking questions about.
They give you just enough headline to shut up the majority of the people.
Well, and that's the other thing that kind of leads me to think that maybe something Epstein related did happen with JonBenet, is because Epstein has tainted so many things that I didn't expect him to taint. But
Everything.
on top of that, everything about the whole JonBenet case was covered up. It's an obvious cover up. Even if it is a cover up of the parents or the son, anything, there's a cover up going on there. There's something weird about it, and there's a reason why they're doing it.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
John Ramsey worked for, he had his own company that sold to Lockheed Martin, and then like 2 years later sold to General Electric. So John Ramsey's like a pretty big deal. He was a billionaire for sure. And that was in the 90s. So
and it's funny how when you say certain companies, you get a chill up your spine. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's so many of them that are just intertwined. And I want to repeat this again. I'm going to say this, well, you're here, Nick, because you've not heard me rant about this. It's so important that in the Epstein files, we focus on everyone, okay? Not just the celebrities, not just the famous cases, the weird guy at a hardly known modeling agency that took personal emails in the way that they would take emails from potential models coming over, that is facilitating a gateway to trafficking. And everyone, the surgeons, the scientists, the fact that this woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, now, we're going to watch a little video, right? Because Ghislaine Maxwell needs to be focused for the next 10 minutes, right? Because Ghislaine Maxwell's told the courts that she will not be speaking unless she gets immunity, okay? And we're just going to watch a video by Asmund Gold, all right? Now, again, apologies for the lazy journalism. Things are moving too fast for me to go and, like, screenshot everything and then lie that I didn't just screenshot it out this video. So we're just going to play the video and we're all going to just agree that things are moving too fast and sometimes we have to do this. But this is going to explain to you how they've done this and how they've got away with it. It's 2 minutes long.
Big controversy about The Atlantic saying there was never an Epstein conspiracy, but the owner is literally friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. Wait, what? So The Atlantic posted, I guess, an article here, what everyone assumes about Jeffrey Epstein. The Epstein files reveal that plenty of powerful people tolerated or participated in disgusting, shameful, and even criminal behavior, but they also bolster the case that there was never any grand conspiracy. Man, this is the great fake sex trafficking.
That was this is a real title. This is
epidemic.
Mad.
And so this is, by the way, this is the person apparently that owns The Atlantic. Isn't that convenient? I feel like that's very, very, very convenient. What does it even mean to be in the Epstein file?
Is this a movie, bro? Like, is this a movie? Because this is like, okay, well, before we start making the jerky, we better buy all the media outlets so we can control the story. Like,
100%.
Anyway, I'm going to continue on with this.
In the case of Jeffrey Epstein, association seems to imply guilt. And so the release of the so-called... Guys, the assumptions are all widely held, but poorly substantiated. Some Americans are already primed to believe in international pedophilia rings. Bonus points if they were run by wealthy Jews who are perhaps on the Mossad payroll, as many conspiracists have insisted that Epstein was. Especially potent was the notion of the client list naming everyone in Epstein's trafficking ring. This was all a natural fit for members of the MAGA right. They're actually sweeping. I can't believe this.
Sweeping, bro.
Trying to downplay and sweep.
They're totally trying. They're like, oh, listen, man, we're sorry that we downplayed this, bro.
Newsworthy, some of Epstein's male friends seem to have relied on him for introductions to young but not underage women. Well, how do we know that? How do you... Epstein tells 50 about a beautiful 26-year-old woman, and so 26, right? Like, it's just... They are downplaying this so insanely hard, but more unseemly or even criminal behavior may as well come out. Perhaps evidence may even emerge to prove that Epstein systematically trafficked, but so far none has. I'm just reading this, and it's just like, you're a senior editor at The Atlantic. I didn't think it was real. You control F. Epstein. They mentioned him a couple of times. Oh my God. It's actually real. As outrageous as these allegations were, their timing may have made them sound less fantastical to some. Like, again, using this like
this is the equivalent, right, of you being in your garden committing a crime and me looking right at you and then just turning around and saying nothing happened. All right?
Yep.
That, but on a global scale. And
Yeah,
this,
like, I don't know what you guys are seeing. This he did so-called what in his garden? Yeah, sure, okay.
right? I mean, here's the thing. When we now have, I mean, how did they achieve this level of power? I mean, blackmail, right? Obviously, but how blackmail money? The insider trading thing is really what we're going to come to next, and we are circling back to JonBenet Ramsey. I just need you to understand the power of narrative control when it comes to a case like JonBenet. I'm sorry for saying JonBenet Ramsey's, and I just wanted to show you this to bolster their ability to downplay the Epstein files. Okay, publicly.
Well, that was the
whimsical
very
awards
first
that
thing Hitler did when he took over and was trying to like start spreading his propaganda. Was he bought up all of the media?
Yeah,
like that's
yeah,
the
right. He
very-
burned down the Reichstag and went, "Those Polish are mad. Give me all those newspapers. Let's go, boys." World War II, by the way. There you go. There's this short version of World War II right there. That's a tiny little compact bit of history right there.
A really good piece right there.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you know, fly planes into buildings, invade country. Oh wait, sorry. Burn Reichstag, invade country. Sorry, I got my timeline muddled up.
Buildings don't fall like that.
They don't fall like that. They definitely don't fall like that, bro. And if they did, it would be very convenient for the cleanup because those girders were cut into perfect little strips, man. Oh god,
So
that's
convenient.
we're doing it again, man. We're doing it.
Yeah, I know.
Doing it again.
That one will be real hard too.
Okay, we're gonna focus. We're gonna focus.
the Rings language. Yeah, I get it. This is the same journalist posting the other article a couple of days ago. America will be reading the Epstein files for decades.
Yeah.
The great fake sex trafficking epidemic. And then after the Epstein files came out, America will be reading the Epstein files for decades by the same person. How about that?
That is next level madness. When you like, you just seen the two articles by the same person by a media outlet that clearly Ghislaine Maxwell has connections to. By the way, she is the definitive like Bond villain that started off working for the British intelligence. Like she is she is peak Bond villain, right? That switch sides. Every time she opens her mouth, I'm just like, you are an evil villain. Now, when we talk about power control and money and all the rest of it, here is a classic moment where we get to really delve inside how this wealth is accumulated. So we're going to throw this out there as a data point from an insider who doesn't want to get unalive.
It's a lot more than insider trading.
The way they're acquiring wealth.
Correct.
And what other methods?
I mean, this is really going to get me assassinated. It's like I'm not lengthening my lifespan by explaining this stuff. I actually have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff because it's going to get me killed. It's a lot more than.
So the insider trading, we've seen evidence of that. And listen,
I've come across that in the files a lot too. You'll see a bunch of weird emails where they're talking about different things that they should be investing in, and they're always asking Jeffrey Epstein for advice.
I mean, I'm not being funny. I would be the most corrupt trader ever. I would be accidentally telling people things at the bars, not even realizing it was insider trading. Like, I just like, oh, no, I've done it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
But when it's on this level, when it's a global cartel of billionaires, okay, they're doing the same good old crimes we are. Okay, except when Nick and I tried to insider trade and we've got $500 and we're really hoping this pays off and Nigel doesn't get caught for telling us, they've got millions and billions and a guaranteed return. Okay. Mm-hmm. It sounds really simple, right? And that's because it is that simple. And it's only because of how much money they can generate through this. Through all of it, that's finally made sense how the 1% have 99% of the wealth, because it ain't because of their business savviness. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, and if you think about what I was saying about John Ramsey, him selling his company Access Graphics to Lockheed Martin, and then selling it again 2 years later to General Electric. Who knows what kind of deals he made to make somebody else rich off of those deals? Like, you start investing in this company because they're about to have a resurgence because of this sale. You never know what was going on. But John Ramsey worked for some pretty major companies that I would imagine that was happening in his circles.
Well, here's the thing: even in his circles, you wouldn't even whisper of insider trading. Like you have. I mean, you've got to know how serious, like, the FBI and all these regulating bodies take insider trading. Like, it's not even like a funny haha, let's make a joke at the lunchroom. It is serious shizness. And the way these guys are talking about it is in a way where the rules have zero apply. It does not apply to them. You know, it's not some little guy from the firm. It is the firm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's the whole firm for sure.
Yeah. I just want to say Nick and I are actually running this show together. We're going to try and do it every week if we can. So he's no longer a guest. That's why we're both the same size now. So he has to fight now. If I'm talking too much, he's going to have to fight through that because my brain goes off on one. So I'm just letting you know, but I respect Nick a lot.
You do have to go to the Epstein files and search JonBenet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're there's one more thing. Oh,
my bad.
There's not possibly someone who we can look back on who spoke about this who's no longer here, right?
He died 5 days later. Rapper Coolio exposed vampires drinking adrenochrome.
Yo, what's up? This Coolio with the flow. I'm going to do something for the first time. When something is obviously wrong, then why would you argue about it, okay? Now, y'all can go home and drink your adrenochrome. You suck, mother. I'm cool on that.
Angel Chrome.
Dead 5 days later.
That's crazy.
Like, when they see that someone's gone rogue, all right, they're taking them out. This is from the golden era of taking them out. It's just a lot harder to take them out now because we're watching. We're looking to see. I mean, I am dialed in on Nicki Minaj's life right now. Right? I hope she is not walking around in open spaces. She needs to be in one of those Pope ball dome things. Okay, in a basement, live streaming herself 24/7. Okay, 100%. With also, where are the biker gangs? Can we all just get our thumbs out, please? Because I've got this theory that if we knew where all these people lived and the biker gangs knew, there could be some motivation to deal with bring these people in for questioning. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. We need to lift the veil of their protection. Metaphorically speaking, of course. We could biker gangs and helping them because there's a lot of them that do pretty incredible work keeping kids safe. All jokes aside, there is a whole team of biker gangs that their specific thing is children that have gone through abuse and liberation and
I didn't know that
rehabilitation. I'll look them up at some point for you, but yeah, it's wild. Right, and Nick, I'm going to hand it over to you, but I need to shut up for 10 minutes. Otherwise, people are going to freaking turn on me in the side chat, man. Like, they think I'm bullying you. I feel like they think that I am bullying you. Okay, I'm just on one. Okay, I'm just on one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't feel bullied. I feel great. I feel like I enjoy our conversation.
I enjoy too.
Really stoked that you did that whole thing with JonBenet, the photos, because I've been curious. That's the thing that's been getting me this whole time is like, how did this fool unredact this photo? And it. Right. Just like, it was in the archives. I'm like, that doesn't explain anything. So how am I supposed to know if this is real?
Well, what I can do is Dr. Leslie spoke about that this evening. So I can ask her about if she's seen it, if she can run something through, or is she just heard people talking about how they've done it, if that makes sense.
I've seen some stuff about it, but it doesn't work for everything, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Like there has to be a program that can unredact stuff, especially if it's just done in like, I don't know, just a PDF viewer. They're redacting things.
Oh my God. I've just realized what you meant about I was using the wrong image. Like, I just realized I was using the other image to try and line it up. I was using the one from this side to try and line it up when I should have just used this one to line it up. So
you still did do a really good job with transforming it to make it that.
We took like a 30-second job and turned it into like 12 minutes of content that when people are watching this back, they're going to be like, he just said you're using the wrong image, right? 10 out of 10. I mean, that's classic moment.
Well, but then we wouldn't have had the eyebrows moment, which was pretty funny.
Well, now I know why okay, well, listen. What I'll do is I'll do the same thing and I'll send it over to you, and you can slap it in a video. You can slap it on whatever you need to do. Because we can do the same thing now where Ron's maths can be exact in the equation of the JPEG. It'll be bang on. So at least then, wow, that was actually quite a stupid thing I did. Like, looking back now, that was real dumb. And I was really so confident with my skill set. And look at me go. What a douchebag. Right. Okay. So again, here is where we're looking at. You can see all these images here. I will play around with them. We'll see what we can do. I also want to see overlaying glare. So you see here, we do have that glare there that I was talking about. And the hands do kind of disappear into nothing. So we'll take a look and we'll get this worked out. We also have things that we can use for scale. So these little boxes here, doorways, can be used as scales if we want to break down a scale to try and work out the size of the head, because that was where my alarm bells ring, was the size of her head. But if their hairline matches, like I was trying to line up in that image, then it's not. You know, it may be the fact that it looks a lot bigger than it is because there's a lot of shadowing around the edge. That is starting to look more and more like JonBenet Ramsey the more I look at it. Allegedly.
I felt too. Like, the longer I looked at it, I was like, wow, I don't know. But then the more you zoom in, you're like, damn it, it just gets pixelated. It doesn't make it any better.
Yeah. Man,
and then again, you're like, dude, who took this photo? I want to slap whoever took this photo, but just makes me wonder who's in charge of that.
Oh my God. I heard about a podcast tonight where a podcaster went around with the lady who was with Prince Andrew and who got unalived.
Virginia.
Right. Around Virginia Giuffre, approaching the people that she recognized from the island. Did you hear about this when she was alive? Funny how none of us heard about this, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
Get that dug out, and I'll send that over to you, because we need to watch that. We need to watch that and just react through that, bro, because
that's
crazy. And you know that Shaun Attwood, the channel you're on, his name appeared in the files, right? You know that too, right?
I saw his post about that. I thought that was really funny.
The only man that when he gets found out he's in the Epstein files had a face on him like this, okay? Yeah. Because it's him reporting outside Ghislaine Maxwell's property. It's him going after them. And that was then subsequently put in a news article, which was subsequently used in the Ghislaine Maxwell court case. So yeah, he's the only man in the world on the Epstein files who is a happy bunny. Oh yeah, he's like, oh yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Thanks for the content. Thanks. So it was an absolute belter. It's so typical of Shaun, though, right? Like, of course he is. Of course, I don't think I can talk about what happened in the Diddy case, but of course, everything. Just everyone's got to come over and try and slap Shaun in the freaking head every time we try and do something. But not this time. Ain't no theories here. We're hardcore discussing the realities of 3 million pages. And sadly, if you're going to leave it up to us to make assumptions or to speculate when names have been redacted, and you're quite happy to leave Woody Allen's name in, and he's talking about PDF files, what about Woody Allen? What level of PDF file is he that he doesn't get the redacted that other PDF files do? Yeah, is it an age thing? Is it like once you hit past 75, you're cooked? Like anything happens, you are on the chopping block. It must be. There must be something. It really, really must, because
I thought that same thing, because there was a whole email. He's the only name that was like, there's a whole thread. He was the only name that was redacted besides Epstein. I was like, what?
Like Woody Allen must have been like, why me though? Like, I mean, what have I done? Like, I adopted a child and then I married her. What could I possibly have done wrong?
Nothing.
Honestly,
yeah, literally the files get crazier and crazier every day, but the 3.5 million files is insane. They knew that. They definitely knew that.
Yep, yeah, DD free. Yep, correct. 10 points for you.
I did not know he was a perv that married his daughter. I don't know anything about Woody Allen.
Oh, bro, that's a fun one to go down. Okay, because you will be like, wow, this guy has managed to not be snapped in half like a twig for his entire existence. That's when you know the true level of evil is when the layer of protection removes what is commonly known as safety. You know, if you're a tiny guy and you screw up, there's a good chance you're going to get a slap and you're going to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've got people like Woody Allen just adopting and then marrying, it's weird. Interesting. And that's weird. But hey, is it really? Because he's going to a PDF convention in Paris. And apparently if he is in a room with Epstein, that's too many PDFs in a room. They've joked about it. They've talked about it. It's bonkers. It's bonkers, man.
Well, and I found something last night that was talking about it was Epstein's last letter that he wrote, and he wrote it to this other guy that I can't remember who it was. He was in another jail, and it got sent back to him because he was dead. He wasn't in that jail anymore. So the note got sent back, but it was postmarked on the 13th of August, and Epstein died on the 10th of August. And so that was already weird. But at the end of it, he says that the only thing that they were guilty of is loving young girls. And he says that him, the guy he wrote the letter to, and our current president is the only three people he names in this letter. It's really weird, but
that is weird.
That was pretty wild. I was like, what? And the postmark date is really strange. 3 days after he died, this was postmarked, written to this other guy who was dead. And it was sent from prison. And so you were right. Like, they give us all of this nonsense. And even if you look at one file and you look at the next file immediately after that, they have nothing to do with each other. And there's no context to anything. Yep. You're just left guessing half the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was really interesting is we watched, I think, 180 videos the other night from the Epstein files. And the way the DOJ has presented some of these files, there was 3 individual video files that looked like 3 separate incidents, right? But when you play them back to back, you've got a little girl on all fours crawling into a room. Then the next footage is that little girl sitting in front of somebody in front of a chair with a bell in her hand. Then the next video is a wider shot of the room that little girl's in. There's a huge table. There's like 2 or 3 people round the table, and you get a full shot of the handbell that's been rung to summon her in. And looking at that in the full context, that is one scenario with multiple people involved. And that is a much different story than a pervert on a chair with a girl that's been called in. That is a much bigger issue, okay? Yeah. Because you've got multiple perverts in a room. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like 3 different clips, or did they cut it? You know,
right? Exactly. Yeah, man. And
that's crazy.
There is some harrowing stuff in what we watched. Not because you've seen anything graphic, but because you're hearing the sounds that, like, the breathing of a 10-year-old sounds like, or anyone who has kids, you know how your kids sound as they get older. They become more self-aware of them, like the noises they make and all this kind of stuff. It's just part of growing up. But you can tell. And there's one video, man, of this girl in a bedroom, and that's the one that really nailed it home for me, because this is happening, man. I mean, obviously we all know it's happening, but to have an inclination, right, of what these kids are put through. Yeah, even though it was 99.9% black square, right? Mm-hmm. It was the most re-engaging moment of the last 3 or 4 years of my work, right? That has re-engaged me into boss form. I am so done with people thinking that this is something that we can just shy away from. Tell us all we're crazy because it makes you feel comfortable. I'm crazy because you don't want to accept the world we're in. Nah, days are gone. Days are gone.
And like, you'd have to be crazy not to believe it anymore. Like,
right?
There's so much out there leaning that direction, proving that this is the case. the pictures of the little girls sitting on Epstein's lap, which is a lot. There's like, and they're always different little girls. That is the weirdest thing. And I'm like, what did these girls do to get like to have their lives ruined like this? Like, how did they end up in this situation? It's just
Money.
and that's
Shitty
just
parents and money.
Yeah, you're probably right. They just sold them. There's
Well,
like
it's not even that.
about Trump saying like he's trying to buy that lady's car, and then she's like, I gotta get my kids out of the back. He's like, no, forget it. I'll buy them too. I was like, damn, that I mean, that sounds like who would say that unless you've done that before?
Who makes a joke about that?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Did you see the Mr. Beast video I posted about the $70,000 pizza? But like right before they do that, they're eating a $2,000 steak. And I can't remember who the guy is with Mr. Beast. And the sound gets all messed up, so you don't really know who says it, which is kind of eerie timing. But he's cutting into the steak and he says, it's like cutting into a baby. I was like, what does that even mean? I wouldn't even know what that reference means.
Yeah. Like,
There's bones in the baby still. So it's like really hard or like bone. Like, I don't really know.
That's a weird one, right?
Right.
I can top you on Mr. Beast clips, right? If we want to play top Trumps on clips, right? Do you remember when he done his live stream charity event at the end of last year? It was like him, Aiden Ross, SQC, and a bunch of other streamers doing this huge, I think was it water? Something to do with water? I can't remember what it was. So midstream, Aiden Ross, who is not the brightest person, right? Okay, not the brightest person, turns round and says, oh, you guys went to Antarctica for a video. I remember you telling me about the ice wall.
Oh.
And Mr. Beast, I'm going to pull this up. Hang on.
That's so funny. I swear, I think I saw a video thumbnail for that, but I didn't watch the video the other day.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, when you see this guy, when you see the facial expression, you got to remember they're live to thousands of people. And why is this relevant? This is relevant because you're staring at the first ever YouTube billionaire in Mr. Beast, the first one of us that would qualify to be brought in to the echelons of evil, allegedly. Okay. And what better way to groom someone into evil by giving them a taste of the unknown, a little you can go in the pyramids, oh, and then before you know it, it's baby steaks. But like, what this is Aiden Ross, right? And wait till you see Mr. Beast's face. Watch this.
Ice wall. Well, bro, I can't say on stream.
No way, but you believe in the ice wall?
Well, bro, I can't say on stream.
No way, but
let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
Like, why is that? Do you know what I mean? So, like, I mean, it could be absolute primo marketing, right? Primo marketing. I mean, maybe Aiden Ross is actually the smartest man in the room, and he's convinced us all he's a dumbass. And this is the sort of thing we would expect from him, when in actual fact, this was marketing at its genius, okay? Could be that too, okay? It could be that too. But if there is anyone on YouTube who is at the level that would be on a list of potential candidates for the big boy, the big evil club, it's got to be Mr. Beast. I mean, he's on 465 million subscribers on his main channel.
Well, and and he's the first one to kind of do that. He's the first one to gain that kind of power on YouTube. They're not going to let that power go uncontrolled. You know what I mean? They're going to have somebody there controlling.
Correct.
100%.
Now, I'm going to hit you with an interesting way of thinking, right? I watched Piers Morgan interview Andrew Tate the other day, and Andrew Tate's point was, come at everyone in the Epstein files with the same energy you've come after me for the same crimes. And for the last 20 minutes of the interview, all Piers Morgan did was ask him about how he feels he should have reacted in a clip of him in a nightclub where Kanye West's Hail Hitler was played. And there's a bit of footage of Andrew Tate looking at the DJ and shaking his head like this. 25 minutes. Andrew Tate's trying to diversify, talk about the Epstein files, pull it back round. And it was just like, so, but the people want to know. They want to know. And he's like, I don't think they want to know really about being in an awkward song being played in a nightclub that you've no control over. Like, why are we talking about this? Why are we discussing this?
What am I supposed to walk out of the place? Like,
right? Like, it was just one of those moments where I was like, for a start, you're right. Come at these people with the same energy you went after Andrew Tate with, because some of these people in the Epstein files, the evidence against them is way greater than the evidence against Andrew Tate. Regardless of what your feelings are with Andrew Tate, it's a great analogy for this because true, right? I mean, we all heard, I mean, you've seen the magnitude in which the world was told Andrew Tate is X, Y, and Z, right? No charges, no convictions or anything like that. But then
for me, it's crazy how there's no convictions, but everybody's focusing, like you said, on the famous people, the Bill Gates, the Trumps, all this. But I was reading about Leon Black, and I know he's still relatively famous, but some of the shit that he's done, like the crimes that he's committed against young minor girls, it's horrific. Like reading about him biting this girl so hard that she was bleeding all over the floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like all kinds of crazy, awful things that this dude's done. And nobody talks about this dude, and he's in multiple files, and he actually had to resign from his position at like Apollo something, his company, because of his ties to Epstein. But like, nobody's talking about these crazy monster dudes that are in the files.
You've just nailed home the point, bro. This is exactly why we need to just keep pushing these shows out, because that is such a good point.
I went to the very end of the files. I went to the very last of the files, and at the very end, like data 12, if you go all the way to the end, some of the first files you scroll through are stuff about Leon Black, and I was like, I never even heard this name before, but some of the stuff I'm reading is pretty gnarly. And
whoa,
yeah, and he's like super wealthy. I can't remember what Apollo does, the company he started. His son is in Trump's cabinet. His son is I can't remember.
What?
Yeah, his son is in Trump's cabinet too. Yeah, it's super crazy, right?
No, yeah, that hang on. That is super crazy. That's like Lincoln
talking about this shit.
That's like the Kennedy Lincoln conspiracy level of like what?
Yeah,
okay, so let's on a page of the Apparent Journal, the diary's author pasted a copy of Sylvia's Place 1962 poem Stopped
That's
Dead.
the diary I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The girl that was talking about the miscarriage and stuff. Leon Black's the one that like took advantage of her and bit her and all this stuff.
Well, let's look at what they're basically selling us here, which is there was underlined words in this. So let's read the underlined words. Birth cry, fatso millionaire, it's violent, goddamn baby screaming, there's always a bloody baby, your 7 chins, still as a ham. Oh, man. Oh, man.
I'm like, where'd she find this poem?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the Museum of Modern Art dude. Got that.
Yo, do you know what we're going to do? Leon, you're going to get your own show, bro.
Yeah,
you're going on a thumbnail, bro. You are going on a thumbnail. I have this saved. And you, my friend, are...
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on him in the files, man. You look for his name in there and there's like thousands of results that pop up.
Yeah, man. The people that have the power to control the other people are the people we need to be looking into. The Diddy's, the Jay-Z's, all of these people, the Trumps, the Clintons, all of them. They're easy. They're right there. They're everywhere. They are right there. And you know their names. Super easy to find them.
Yep.
But when we have dudes like this, whatever happened to
there's files that have been released since, like, his name isn't new to the most recent data sets. His name has been out there since the first release, but I've never heard his name ever, not once. Nobody said his name, at least not to me. But there's articles out there about him. There's been stuff written about him for years, actually. So much that he had to step down from his roles with the museum and with Apollo, and like people have been giving him tons of flack for it. But I'm like, I never have heard this dude's name once, not one time.
Yeah. And I tell you something else. When we talk about what we hear, we've just proven how narratives are controlled with Ghislaine Maxwell. Not that we didn't know that before, but when you have a theory, people tell you you're crazy, and then it's laid out in government released documents that prove everything. That is so vital. And these are the guys, man. These are the faceless individuals.
Well, they want you talking about Bill Gates getting herpes or something. You know what I mean? Because that's more viral. That's more talk worthy. They don't want you looking into the actual crimes that were going on and the actual dark people that were behind these things.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting that Bill Gates, everything on Bill Gates, 90% of the stuff that they're talking about was an email that Epstein wrote and never sent.
Yeah.
If there was ever oh, 6 months from now, we're going to find out someone was fired at the FBI because he's a Linux user and wanted to frame Bill Gates for something and he typed it out, that means the one person everyone's been focusing on is going to be vindicated, and there's going to be no one else is going to be focused on anything because they've been too focused on Bill.
Right. 100%. Well, and I brought this up in my video, but all the stuff that we're learning about is not Epstein typically saying, like you said, it's that unsent Epstein email, or it's victim testimony that was never followed up on. No charges were brought. Nothing was done about it. So it's just allegations that can't be substantiated. Nothing's been done about it. So it's like, even the things that we are learning about Trump and Bill Gates and all this other stuff, it's like hard to know if it's fact or if it's just somebody's testimony, if it was happening around the elections and people just hated Trump, so they're spreading all this nonsense about him or whoever else.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I will say, Bill, old William, and his wife, old Willington, right? They have a massive pile of stuff at their footsteps, like conspiracies, facts, all of it. Bill Gates has got a bunch of stuff too, right? But, you know, I mean, it takes a bold move to do what you did all over that lady's dress, and then to keep our attention off it, just start a war. All right.
Yeah.
Like it takes a bold man. And Bill Gates is very much the first level of behind the scenes. We all know who Bill Gates is, right? But there's probably more people who could tell you who Bill Gates is, but couldn't point him out from a lineup of people. You know who he is, but you're not necessarily dialed in on who he is. And he is a perfect fall guy. He is the household name that we all know. And to put something out there for us all to get derailed and focus on doesn't mean that he's innocent. It just means that we've got to remember that was an unsent email that Epstein wrote to himself. And there is other things, but it's interesting how much time has been spent on areas that should really just be scuffed over, and then we're on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. But the mainstream just wants to fixate on so many unnecessarily just repeating a lot of stuff.
Just keeps feeling this the back and forth, the Democrat Republican, whose side are you on narrative, and it's just nuts to me. Yeah, it's totally crazy.
Do you know what's weird? That's the picture you were talking about, and I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. Because that's the image I remember of JonBenet.
Yeah, when you look at that thing, it's like it's the same. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's real odd, and I wonder if that's her school uniform, and I wonder if that's her on her way home from school, because that looks like a school portrait day picture. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I wonder if that's her school uniform, and if the shoes or maybe the socks had something to do with the school that had to be blurred out or whatever. I don't know. Mega speculating. I'm just a guy on the internet talking a bunch of nonsense with another guy on the internet.
Yep.
So, and I tell you something else. Of course, you would want the most public image of her to be the same uniform as she is in your picture of her in your palace of horrors.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not like you said, it's not an easy picture to find. I knew that she was in that jumper thing because I was like, I've seen her in that thing. Like, just as much as I knew I'd seen Britney Spears in a plaid skirt in that music video.
Yeah.
And so I was like hoping that I wasn't finding it. And I was like, maybe I imagined it. But then I saw the same exact picture you have pulled up, and I was like, oh, it does exist. And I think I had to use Google Lens or whatever, and I had to zoom in on the photo, and it was able to find one. But also DuckDuckGo is good with finding photos.
Let's just go back here for a second, right? I mean, that is that tartan? Is that a tartan design on it? It looks like there's a line there.
Yeah, it does look like
You
there's
see
a
that?
line.
So then if we cut back, oh God, where's the image? Here it is. Bro, that looks like a school uniform.
Yeah, it does.
And look at the
white.
Well, it's the kind of the sleeve.
Mm.
I feel like there's something there, but it's just.
It looks very much the same. That one looks like it's blue, maybe like light blue. Maybe it's just dark. I don't know. But it looks like the same kind of shirt, with collared shirt, kind of fluffy arms.
Yeah. Yeah,
And like,
that's what we're thinking, Nicola. That's what we're thinking, because I mean that looks like, I mean, every parent in the UK has literally bought the box standard school uniform. Do you know what I mean? That shirt underneath, dress for the girls, trousers for the boy. We all know what we're looking at here.
Right.
And that looks a lot like what we're looking at here. But that he is holding something in his hand, bro.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. Which
really is.
The fact that they blurred it out makes me think he has to have something, because I don't feel like maybe her socks or shoes could have something defining on it, but I feel like him holding something makes way more sense. Maybe he's holding something.
I wonder if there's reports of
somebody who's watching sent me this photo. I just sent it to you on WhatsApp. They cropped I mean, it looks like it's just a cropped version of the JonBenet Ramsey photo, but it might fit the square. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, but we can also throw it in Photoshop and see if we can lighten it up and see what we can see. So whoever that was, thank you.
Yeah, let me see who it was. It was Nope. It was Lost the Plot Graveyard Walks. Thank you.
All right. Okay. I mean, we are literally working with like a postage stamp of image.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, we really are. So don't expect this to look high quality.
Yeah, it's insane to me that that's the only photo of that photo.
So you can see that's when Photoshop decides we have to start displaying pixel dispersion. We are now at the point where we can hand count the pixels. You can see us zooming in. You see what I mean? These are all individual pixels. Pixels. JPEGs are based in pixels. Vectors are based off mathematics and will increase and maintain their quality regardless of how much you scale them. Whereas this is the technology that we're more familiar with. So let's get those grays going. It looks like a weird. That's probably where the box was, right? This weird band across the face here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, you're right. That's weird. The little box where her eyes are.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a shitty image, right?
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with the shitty.
There's
internet.
literally only so much we can do. Let's have a look at the color balance and see if we can get our skin to look like skin.
Let's say it's not JonBenet. Who is this girl?
Right?
Why is this girl in this massive photo on the wall if it's not JonBenet Ramsey? That's the thing I can't get past. I'm like, who is this girl?
I'm on board with you, Tuxedo Mask. Starting to think there's something up with this Epstein guy. Yup. And you know what? I think you're the first one to have said it. That is groundbreaking and revolutionary, sir. But yeah, thank you very much for the support, brother. I really appreciate that.
Oh, that's funny.
It's true, man. Like, but I tell you what, now the more we do this, the more I'm getting convinced. In fact, let me bring the original image back in. And
just kind of like with the Charlie Kirk stuff, just when I thought that we figured it all out and we've gotten all the info there is to find, that something else comes out about it. And same thing with the Epstein stuff. Every day it seems like you find out something that Epstein tainted something else that you are near and dear, and you're like, damn it, not this too.
Right? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just waiting for him to have some connection to Armitage Shanks, and now we can't even have a pee in the toilet without him tainting that. Like, I'm just saying.
Look at all the bathrooms in his house. So, bro, maybe he has some.
That is such a good point. Oh God, let's not peel at that label, man. Also, who runs Armitage Shanks? He must be a billionaire, right? Because every toilet I ever see, it just says Armitage Shanks on it, and that's a lot of toilets, bro. We need to look into him, Armitage Shanks. Right. Anyway, so let's just
a good point,
bro.
Yeah, we're in the wrong business.
Oh man. Come on, skin tone. There we go. I mean, I think that's about as good as we're going to get. Hang on. Let me see what we can do with these. Yeah, I mean that is like a freaking fever dream demon, but
yeah,
at least we can see feature. I mean, we can see nose contours a little better and things like that. Try in black and white. I will try in black and white.
Yeah, that's a good move. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah. So when you turn something in black and white, you've got full control. So what I'm doing here is adjusting the red layer in the original photo, and then we can adjust the yellow layer. Oh man, I'm gonna have nightmares about this freaking thing here. Like it is. It's actually, this is a good show. It's actually starting to take a little bit more. I mean, it looks like a demonic skull face under a hood, but
you can definitely see more contours though.
Baby steps. Okay. Oh, we're doing it now. Oh yeah, now we're doing it.
Yeah, I see it now.
Still the thing of nightmares.
Yep. Oh yeah, but it definitely looks better black and white.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit more true to where the edges of it all begin and things like that. Oh God. But you know what? I tell you what. Let's say, I think you nailed it earlier. I think it's less about, is it this girl, and more about who the hell is this girl?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because this was on a street, bro. This is out in broad daylight in public. Yeah. Heather O'Rourke or JonBenet, those are exactly what we've just been talking about. Those two girls. We're going to do a separate show on Heather O'Rourke. And there's going to be so much stuff being rammed in each day. The thumbnails will change. You'll have the main image and then maybe 3 circles with the sub categories we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to list in the description before each live everything that will be covered, that isn't the main title and thumbnail, because there's so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much,
and it's all thumbnail worthy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we've got a sub series called The Cult of Epstein that I'm currently doing. We did our first episode last night. I'm going to try and get another one of them up, and I'm well versed in the occult, the cabal, witchcraft, magic. That is my wheelhouse, next to, sadly, all of this horrible crap. And you guys, when the next layer of this is lifted off, for those who are new to this entire topic of the global cabal, you got to be ready, man, because it just continues to get more unbelievable. And sadly, we now have the black and white documents to make you believe.
It gets more unbelievable, but you believe it more,
right?
And you're like, oh my God, what?
It is dark and scary and real, and none of you have the right to ignore it or look away from it, because none of these children stood a chance to do that. So there's no, oh, it's too much. There's no, oh, it's too dark for me. Sorry, not this time. We need everyone together driving this forward. You need to be telling people about the realities of this. You need to direct them to me. I'll explain it to them and rant in their face for you. But this cannot be allowed to die. And the narrative that I gave you about Andrew Tate, let that bounce around in your head. When an influencer who is completely against the norm is dragged down for the allegations and the unproven crimes, I'm not saying he's innocent or I'm not saying he's not. But when the same energy isn't applied to the Epstein files, okay, that is a awakening for all of us. Really, we really need to. It's not about is Andrew Tate guilty or not guilty. It's about the energy that is used in this, in the two instances. Because I would have thought Andrew Tate should be in jail by now, right? He should, if he was the monster he is. They would have shut him down. But instead, it's more important to destroy what he has and what he stood for than it is to worry about putting him in jail. Okay.
And I think with the children thing, it's weird enough to think that they're into kids in any way. But I think what it all comes back to is that they're making money off of this. Whatever they're doing, whatever operations going on here, whatever sick, twisted stuff they're doing, it's all funneling money back into somebody else's pocket, or it is some giant organization or some giant business that is really profitable.
Guess again, not a business, not an organization. Okay, now you've heard this word. It's not cabal, but you've heard this word repeatedly for the last few years in the news, and that's cartel. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a cartel of billionaires and millionaires. And in the same way as if Nick and I were international cocaine smugglers, we would have a bunch of lackeys and dudes that aren't as important as us, but are essential to our operation, which is what we're seeing here. It's just they're in suits and work for modeling agencies and media companies. It's not some pure wee dude out in the middle of the jungle with a microwave and a generator smashing cocoa leaves up. The criminal pyramid is the same. It's just we are so conditioned to think what we look at as a criminal, and what we're looking at here is people in power, and people can misconstrue it all. And it's the same thing. We need to focus on all the loose links and all those individuals who create the entire network. It's so important.
Yeah, I fully agree. Well, and Les Wexner is the guy that started and runs Victoria's Secret, and there was tons of different emails talking about Victoria's Secret models that were subjected to the same exact abuse and experiences that these young girls were exploited. So you're like, what does it take to become a Victoria's Secret model? You wonder,
Well, do you know this? You know the history of Epstein and Victoria's Secret, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh God!
Just all I know is that his ties with Les Wexner and just kind of coming up with him, kind of financing him, but I don't know his direct ties to it anyway.
Okay. I'm going to pull up my notes for this, and we'll retouch on this the next time we talk, because I might be confusing two stories off of the top of each other, but I've got a really weird feeling that Jeffrey Epstein and the guy in Victoria's Secrets were best pals, and there was a huge part of Victoria's Secret that was then controlled and influenced. I could be wrong, but I will fact check this. But there's a story to do with something to do with modeling or underpants. It's underpants or it's modeling, right? Mm-hmm. That Epstein got drawn into early on. Like this is when he had the really stupid haircut that was it was period appropriate.
Yeah.
I'll need to look it up, because that one he financed Jeffrey Epstein, the guy that owned. Is it Jean-Luc Burnell?
No, it's Les Wexner.
No, that's okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. So yeah, it's something like that, Julesy. Yeah, it was something like that. So I will fact check all that, because this is really essential, bro. We're looking at a period in time where they felt safe. They didn't know the internet was a mad concept. Polaroids were a mad concept back at this point, you know?
They could have had no idea.
Les Wexner and Leon Black. Okay, bro. We need to work on a mind map for this. We need to have a visual. I've been saying this since I started doing this show. So I think we'll start doing that tomorrow night, and I'll get Nick to work on it, and we'll work on it on Discord, and we can all take a section, like the modeling industry, the film industry, the rap game, whatever.
This idea.
If we can just lump everything together so that when someone says Wayfair, for example, we can go straight to the Wayfair, and everything that we've found is just there as a visual, because reading stuff is lots, and I'd rather just have it all there, like we can look at, because it's a lot, man.
Speaking of Wayfair, that's what Kim and I are going live tonight at 8:00 talking about, is the Wayfair stuff. So
sick.
Tune into that.
Oh, nice
TikTok
one.
Shop too.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely rewatch that, because the Wayfair thing was bonkers.
Oh yeah, seriously,
completely bonkers. Doesn't seem so bonkers now, though, right?
Right. Yeah, it's crazy how everything seems less crazy now.
The only thing that seems crazy is, why would you be so stupid? In fact, how does someone in the grand PDF cabal end up listing children as furniture? That is like take your child to work day for the Illuminati, and one of the guys has just got a dim-witted child. None of the drugs, none of the mutations worked on him, and he's just like, I'm going to prove to my dad I can do this. I'm going to list them on Wayfair. What? I tell you what, one thing I could believe is that somewhere in the desert is a worker who'd had enough, and that was the only way that they could see to get a message out, was to by posting it on the website and hoping the public would pick up on it. And now he is dunzo. He is jerky. Do you know what I'm saying?
He's jerky for sure.
They enjoy the gloating because they feel uncomfortable. Do you know what? Gloating's not even the right word. I don't think we have a word for the concept of what they are relishing in when we have legacy survivors. We have iconography in children's TV and music that are the most over-the-top sexualized children ever. Like it's so much beyond gloating. You know what I mean? And you're not wrong. It's just, man, there's words for the shock value of the Epstein files that we need to invent, because the current ones do not meet the grade in which I feel. But you're not wrong, man.
I agree with that.
Damn.
Totally agree with that.
Well, look, we've hit the 2-hour mark, bro. Okay. And rather than just sort of going around in circles, if you guys have got any questions you want to throw out to us, let us know. Nick and I are going to try and do this every week, because he's my boy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. The JonBenet search on the Epstein files. When you search JonBenet, the JonBenet, there's only one file that pops up, and it's this letter from this chick who was in a cult that is from Boulder, and her common law husband's name, his nickname is JonBenet, but they also operated, this cult was in Boulder, which is where JonBenet Ramsey lived when she was killed. And this letter was sent from Jeffrey Epstein in 2022 from his Palm Beach mansion, which was actually destroyed in 2021. So there was no address technically to send it from.
Okay.
And it was mailed. We don't see who it was mailed to because it's blacked out. It's redacted. But this chick is talking about how she like artificially inseminated herself with Epstein's seed that was all over the floor after one of his massage sessions. And she talks about how her youngest daughter is Epstein's daughter. And it's just a really weird letter. But it's the only thing that pops up when you search JonBenet or when you search JonBenet in the Epstein file search.
Do you know the level of fangirl that you have to be to scoop that up off the floor and impregnate yourself with it?
Yeah. Well, and the whole cult that she's talking about, that she's a part of, was this like weird sexual deviance cult.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they lived next to him at his Zorro Ranch was right next to their cult ranch in New Mexico.
Interesting.
And that's how they were like neighbors. And so she ended up becoming his common law wife. She left the other guy and she moved into, allegedly, according to this letter, she moved into his Zorro Ranch and she had like 4 daughters. And all of her daughters basically just served Epstein, and he treated them to whatever, paid for whatever for him. Super weird. But if you guys search JonBenet in the files, it'll pop up. It's the only thing that pops up.
Well, I'm going to leave you with one thought I had the other day, right? And I want you all to just let this live in your head. What if these twisted individuals are taking the only blueprint that we have for creating a deity, right? Because a child born from a child is the definition of Jesus Christ, right? The child Mary that gave birth to the savior of the world, as we know. What if in their twisted heads they think deities are born from innocence, right? And this, because innocence has a huge part to play in this, and a God at the center of a religion that says, I shall not interfere, it is your free will. What was Mary's free will? Did you ask? Did you have a meeting with her mom and dad? Because she was a minor, okay? Unable to consent or make decisions for herself. And then if I was Joseph and my wife was 13 and suddenly came pregnant, I'd move to the next town over as well, bro. Okay? I'd be moving to the next town too. Okay? Rapid style.
Yep.
Rapid style. So are they trying to emulate a format to create something? Did you see what I'm saying?
Because I do, yeah. It's totally.
Jesus was a real dude. Jesus was a real dude. Mary was a real lady. He was born. That happened, right? Agreed? And then he went on to be like, I don't think he fully expected the fame that he was going to reach. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we have to ask ourselves, if we were going to take a blueprint from anywhere, that could be what they are obsessed with children over. Okay. Yeah. Also, and again, it's just not as simple as they're all PDFs. It's just not as simple as that. I mean,
yeah, I agree with that.
Largely it is, but it's not. It's horrible, and your brain makes you stop when you go, oh, but it's so much worse than that, and then you catch yourself going, well, you're talking about essaying a child. What can be worse than that? And then you realize, oh yeah, it's the Epstein case. Yeah, it's the Epstein case. It's the global.
And just the process of sourcing a child to traffic, like the trafficking piece, it seems just as bad as the actual sourcing piece. Like these kids are being ripped away from wherever their home is, whatever their life is, being sent into this, I don't know, they're in captivity. And then all they get to do outside of captivity is be trafficked to different dudes. So I don't know. The whole process is messed up.
Yeah. And listen, we did this last night. We're all just going to take a couple of minutes, right? We're going to take a couple of minutes. I'm going to find a picture of a sunset that isn't on an island, which... Right. Okay. And we're all just going to take 5 minutes and stare into some beauty of the world. Okay. Because we have just had 2 hours of trauma. Okay. So by God, we can spend a couple of minutes looking at something pretty, okay? And then we'll end the show. Because it's so easy to get disheartened. But just remember, it's 1%. 1%.
Yep.
We're 99%. I tell you what, bro. See if we all met in a field, this would be over in an hour. They could bring whatever weapons they want. If we just all run, if we just be the ball in ants and we just roll on them, it's done.
It's done.
We are not the ones who are living in fear. What have we got to lose? I mean, we've got a lot to lose. But in the grand scheme of, for centuries and thousands of years, we've been secretly controlling the world, and we're about to take all that away from them. I'm sure there's some sweat under some collars. I'm sure there's some vampires deep, deep under the core of the earth, okay, that are starting to awaken because their offspring have screwed up, okay?
Yep.
It turns out that all those vampires have probably been asleep for 2,000 years. Now we've got adult content and smartphones, and the Illuminati's just falling apart because they're on OnlyFans getting their jollies off when they should be realizing that they're the mind controlled, failing, bro. They're failing. And I see if all of this comes to fruition, and it turns out that the access to OnlyFans has contributed to us being able to save the world. A lot of people are going to have to eat their hats. Okay, a lot of people are going to have to take some stuff back that they've said about some people.
Yep.
But it's interesting because everything's went pretty well from them up until civilized society kicked in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done any research into the Dark Ages? The actual dark, bro. Oh, bro. We need once the Epstein. We'll plan something for like Halloween, right?
Yeah,
bro. It was whatever movie you've seen where you've been like, medieval time seems a bit rough.
Yeah,
you've no idea, bro. You've no idea. So yeah, we need to get into that.
I love that.
Everyone stare at the sunset. Nick, DJ Petrovsky, I'm so glad your channel has been liberated from the arms of the shenanigans. And I can't wait to see you and your missus killing it on your live streams and doing all the stuff that you guys do together. You guys work so well. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch. So can't wait for that. You're welcome, brother.
I love chatting with you.
Bro, we'll get next week's show up as soon as possible. We'll make sure everyone knows. And listen, thank you all for being here. There was over like 2,000 of you at one point. It was crazy. So,
all right.
Especially since Ron broke the notifications. Notifications should be back to normal tomorrow. I just want to say that to everybody. But Ron definitely broke the notification. It wasn't Ron's fault, but it was Ron's live stream. Turns out if you AI generate a picture of the future queen punching Meghan Markle in the face, YouTube gets upset. Okay, YouTube gets upset. So yeah, I mean, it was like 2 seconds of a 3-hour stream, and then the AI of YouTube went, no.
It's always 2 seconds, I swear.
Yeah, man.
The last video was getting flagged because of the word corn. Like, well, not that word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
One word flagged the whole hour-long video.
Yeah, of course. Because they want to make you feel like a dumbass, right? Yep. Like that's the only reason to do it. I got a full channel strike on a video from like years and years ago because there was a picture of a girl outside a bar and she had a top on where that, like, you know, like the nipple disc around the nipple, right? The nipple disc was kind of poking out, and YouTube gave me a channel strike. So I replaced every image in the video with Hitler's face. No problem with Hitler's face. No problem with that. The guy murdered millions of people. Okay, that's less offensive than a freaking nipple disc. Come on, son. Mad.
So you're like, what are you going back and looking at that stuff for anyways? Come on, YouTube.
How did it pick up on it? It was rapid, bro. So it's crazy. But look, everyone, and I tell you what, if you're telling me to shut up, you're in the wrong place, bro. You're in the wrong place. For a start, I don't care what you have to say to me. I am not here to be validated. My audience, I love you guys. The ones who are here, who are positive, ones that even contribute negative stuff in a positive way. Absolutely spot on. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for being here. We have to do this sort of little 10 minutes at the end where we all have a moment of humanity together and sort of release the stresses of this, because this is the start of a long journey, and It's not going to get any lighter or less dark or less serious. In fact, it's probably going to get more heartbreaking as time goes on, as more and more of our childhood people that we remember, or shows, or the trainers you wear, or the carbonated beverage you drink, all become tainted, okay, by what is clearly the biggest organized crime cartel we have ever seen. The only thing that will be bigger than this is when the space cartels land on Earth, and like some crazy Colombian like alien dude comes out and is like, "We are here now. We are the alien cartel." That's what it's going to be bigger than this.
We're the alien cartel. Yeah, honestly, you're right, though. You're straight up right, though. If they haven't already landed and started working with the current cartel we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, they definitely have, right? But like a rogue cell of them that don't they're like, screw your intergalactic treaty, yo. And they're just going to come down and land and be like, deal with it. Unless that happens, it has to be something out of their control. That's why I think the word act of God is such a great term for this. Like if suddenly we wake up and there's an asteroid coming towards us. Also, if it's a near miss, don't tell us something's going to nearly miss us. And then when it misses us, it's several 100,000 light years away. Okay. Like I don't need the anxiety. Like if you're a science guy and you say, hey man, there's a big rock that might hit us. And I find out that the distance between it and the planet is a distance so far, no one could even fathom the maths on how to travel it. I think you need to calm down a bit. Yeah, all right? Like dial it back. Dial it back. Anyway, there's the one last derailing of the show.
Space.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, Nick, you're a legend. Your links are down in the description. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Okay. Thank you. And you're live today. How many hours for people that aren't in your part of the world? How many hours till you're live?
We're going to go at 8 o'clock. So it'll be what, 3.5 hours?
3.5 hours. All right. Well, listen, you heard it here. Links in the description. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to the mods. Thank you to the Shaun Attwood channel. Stare at the sunset. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. All right. Peace.
Everything will be good. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, brother.